yogis, Becky here. I've come to the mat today to lead you through a nice short sequence that can be used right before bed or perhaps first thing when you wake up in the morning. So let's find a nice comfortable position in child's pose to begin. So I'm going to choose to have my knees nice and wide. They can also be together. Let's walk your hands forward, stretching them as far as they'll go, allowing the forehead to rest down towards the ground. So if you can get the forehead all the way to the ground, there's a little pressure point around where your third eye is that allows you to become a little bit more calm. It helps you tap into your parasympathetic nervous system. So let's, if we can get it all the way to the ground, let it rest there. Take a handful of breaths. While you're taking these breaths, notice any sensations in the body, the rise and the fall of the breath, any emotions that might pop up to the surface with that. Let's begin walking your hands towards your knees. You can sit up onto them and bring a little bit of movement into your body. So shrug your shoulders up to the ears, make a nice big rotation back, rolling through, bring them back forwards and back. Good, nice big circles. All right, let's bring the hands behind the back, clasp either the hands together or opposite elbows. Lift the heart space, shoulders draw together, and grow tall through the crown. So I'm imagining my heart is sending up towards the ceiling. Lots of breath into that space and down into the belly as well. And release. Let's come forwards to a tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll warm up the wrists a little bit here. Let's bring the finger pads so they point out from each other and the heels of the palms face each other. Bring a little sway from side to side. And as you do this, really dig through the finger pads to help support this shift of weight. Let's switch sides. So now the fingers point in towards each other, same sort of motion. You might even notice your palms want to come a little bit off the ground. So just find a range of motion that works for you this morning or this evening, whatever it may be. And come back through center with fingers pointing forwards. Let's tend to the fingers while we do a couple rounds of cat and cow. Inhale to send the heart forwards, lifting the tailbone. And exhale to round back. Hello, Gilly. Inhale, sending the heart forwards. And exhale, round back. Let your eyes close. Really enjoy this movement into the spine. Let's come back to your neutral spine in the center. We'll bring the hands back down to the ground. And we'll invite a little bit more cat-cow in, or you can invite some different types of movement in. So maybe a little bit more circular, a little bit more intuitive into the hips, into the wrists. Maybe some barrel rolling into the rib cage, rolling circularly. And we'll come back to stillness. I'm going to tuck my toes underneath, hover my knees off the mat for a moment, press firmly through the palms, really puffing up through the shoulder blades, and I'm now imagining I'm pulling my hands towards my knees and my knees towards my hands. So finding a lot of engagement here, firing up through my core, through my low belly. 2 more breath rounds. And let's head to downward facing dog. Pedal at the feet here. Right, let's take a look forwards towards the palms. I'm going to step wider than my hands. So my right foot steps to the pinky side, left foot steps to the pinky side, lower my hips down, landing in Vinyasa. My toes are pointed out slightly. Palms find heart center if they can, and press elbows into knees, knees into elbows. Little tips of the trade here. If you're not feeling so steady, you can hold onto the front of the mat. If you have lifted heels, maybe even slide something underneath the heels so you can really press down firmly into it. Even though everything's working down towards the ground, lift through the heart here. Dropping my fingertips down straight ahead of me. Send your hips up to the sky. Heel toe your feet about hip distance. Big bend into the knees. Heavy head and sway from side to side. And clasping opposite elbows. And release everything back down. If rolling through the spine feels safe for you, you can do that. Otherwise, you can always use your hands to walk up your legs. So I'm going to choose to stack bone by bone, slowly rolling up. Head arriving last. When it lifts, lift the shoulders to the ears, big roll back to open the heart. Let's go down the same way we came up, chin to chest, rolling down, heavy hands, bending into the knees, heavy head. Back into a forward fold. All right, let's come all the way back up. One more time. Lift through the head, lift the shoulders to ears, big circle back to open the heart. Tadasana, mountain pose. All right, we're gonna step out to the side. It doesn't matter which side, but just face one of the long edges of your mat with both toes facing forwards. All right, we'll turn the right toes to whichever side it is and bend into your knees so you find a warrior 2 legs and warrior 2 arms. Reach the arms out from side to side, gazing over your front fingers. Reversing the warrior by bringing your left hand to the back leg, flip your front palm, sweeping it up and back. Continue reaching up so you're stretching right from the hip through the top hand. Strong and forceful, come back through center. Coming into extended side angle, so reach forwards, keep lots of length on both sides of the body. I'm gonna choose to create a little shelf for my forearm and reach my left arm all the way by my ear. You can always drop that hand a little lower by the ankle or a block. I'm gonna focus on opening up the heart here. So rolling my top shoulder back, focusing on having my bottom rib cage, trying to face the ceiling as well. So a little rotation into the spine. I'm gonna take a look down onto the inside of my front foot and then bring both hands down to the ground. Walking those hands so that they're in the center of my leg and turn my right toes forward so both feet are facing the long edge of the mat. And I'm gonna come into some side lunges here. So bend into your left leg, bend into your right. Move from side to side, but move slowly. You can always go a little deeper the next round. So just notice how your body's feeling with these side lunges. Move mindfully into them. All right, let's give a nice big bend into the right knee and walk your hands over to the left side. Big stretch there. Walk your hands back through center, straighten the right, and we'll bend the left. Walk your hands over to the right. And we'll come back through center. Straighten both legs. Halfway lift your spine, so extend it forward. Place your hands to your waist. You can bend into the knees or not as you press all the way up to stand. Release your hands by your side. We're now going to turn the left toes out. Bend into your left knee, reach the arms out from side to side, gaze over the front fingers. Feel really firm through the feet, expansive and strong through the arms. Reversing the shape, right hand skis down the back leg, flip the other palm, find a big lift here, big stretch to the ceiling. Optimistic gaze towards the fingertips and even past them. Come back through center, home base, warrior 2. Reach forwards with control. Find your expression of extended side angle. And your top arm, your right arm, really reaching as far as it'll go. Find a big stretch on that side. And invite a little rotation in by dropping the top shoulder back slightly, looking up at the ceiling. And so now my left rib cage, my bottom half of the rib cage, is trying to turn to face the ceiling as well. look down towards the inside of my front foot. Drop the fingertips to the ground, then walk them back forwards between my legs and send both toes forwards. I'm going to come into a forward fold here. You can either choose to keep your hands ahead of you and lower the crown down, maybe a little ragdoll. I'm going to find a little bit of a shoulder opener. So with an extended spine forward, I'll bring my hands to my low back, either clasp opposite elbows or opposite palms, and then allow my head to drop down. I'm going to bring my palms with me to open up the shoulders. Handful of breaths here. To come out of this one, bring my hands back to my low back. As I do that, start lifting through the crown forwards, extending the spine, come all the way up to stand and release. Spring back to the top of your mat. Take a little flow to bring things down to the ground. Inhale to lift the arms, and exhale, float forwards. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Touch the ground as you breathe out, step to plank. Either working through a flow or press straight to downward facing dog. Take a look forwards and step or hop through to a seat. I'll come into a diamond shape with my legs, so Baddha Konasana. And I'm going to lean back into my left palm so to find a really strong straight back. Take your right hand, bring it onto the inner thigh of your right leg. Press knee into hand, hand into knee. Find a little bit of negotiation there, pressing into one another. It's a really active stretch to start. And release, switch sides, so leaning into the right. Left hand finds the thigh, press the two into one another. And release. All right, now I'll come into my forward fold. I'm hoping that I created a little bit more space into the hips by doing that. So fingertips are behind, reach the crown a little taller, keeping that length in my low back as I bring my hands forward either to the ankles, the shins, or all the way ahead. You can invite roundness into the upper back, but keep that length in the low back. Take a couple of breaths here. Walking your hands back towards yourself, lift up. I'm going to shimmy my toes all the way to the top of the mat. Just for a little added core work, instead of just flopping back to my back body, I'll reach my arms forwards, really proud chest forwards, and very slowly recline all the way back. When you arrive, keep a bend into your knees and stack them right on top of your feet. I'm going to focus once again on rolling the spine. So imagine you're tilting your pelvis just so your tailbone rises off the ground. Squeeze the glutes. Now lifting a little bit higher, the whole pelvis is off the ground. Rolling up into a glute bridge. So less into a back bend, more rolling through the spine. Once your whole torso is in line with itself, I'll come down the same way I came up. So the upper back meets the ground, mid back, pelvis, and the tailbone. Okay, let's do that again. Rolling up really slowly and roll back down, bone by bone by bone. All right, let's come up the same way we came up. Once you're in your glute bridge, you can turn this more into a back bend if you would like. So you can continue pressing the hands to the ground, or maybe roll your shoulders under to lift the heart a little more, clasping the palms together. If you do that, you can squeeze the shoulder blades together to lift the heart more, squeeze the glutes to lift the hips more. 2 more breaths. And melt the hands apart, lower back down, bone by bone by bone. All right, keeping the knees stacked over the ankles. I'll cross my right ankle on top of my left knee, open it nice and wide and flex at the ankle. You can stay here or thread your hands behind the knee and eye of the needle. And release back down. I'm going to create a cactus shape with my arms and drop the whole set of my legs over to the right side. with my right ankle still crossed over my left knee. If that is too much weight and you're feeling any pain in the low back, uncross the legs just to take that weight off. So this is into a bit of a spinal twist here. I'm going to look over my left shoulder. Let's lift everything back up through center. Uncross the right ankle. Give yourself a windshield wiper to loosen it all up. Lift the knees back through center and head to the other side. So left ankle crosses over, flex at the ankle, shining the toes towards the shins, send the knee away. Staying here, lifting the foot off the ground into your eye of the needle. Lots of breath into the outer hip. And slowly release it back down. Find your cactus shape. Whole set of legs knocks over to the left side. Once again, you choose if that ankle stays crossed or not, and take a look over your right shoulder. I'm gonna lift everything back up, uncross my legs, knock them from side to side a couple of times. And find a little happy baby pose. So lift your feet into the air, hands come between the legs to take hold of the ankles or outer feet. You can rock from side to side, kick through the legs. Just do anything that feels nice in this sort of pose. And bring the soles of the feet to touch. So you're back into this cobbler position or Baddha Konasana. Release the soles of the feet and lower the outer feet to the ground in that shape. And we're gonna end our little morning or evening session together in our Supta Baddha Konasana. So it's a great way to find a nice big opening into the hips, easing in over time. And I'm gonna place one hand to my heart and belly just to notice what's going on inside. Take a few breaths here. If you'd prefer to come into Shavasana by extending the heels long, you can also do that as well. Just give yourself a moment in stillness to let everything settle. Perhaps think about a couple things that you're grateful for today. If you have the opportunity to stay in stillness longer, it might be a good one to take. Otherwise, if you're still in your cobbler pose, take the hands to the backs of the thighs, assist the legs shut. Find a few movements into the wrists, into the ankles, maybe stretching long through the body. And we'll gently roll over to one side for a moment. And press all the way up to a seat. Bring your hands to your heart. Come back to those little things that you're grateful for. Or maybe thinking of a way you can bring this energy and channel it into a positive activity for you or for others today. Thank you for coming to your mat and practicing with me. Namaste.